First thing you need to know is my friend JJ. I've known him, well, I've known him since I was like 8 years old. And we haven't always been friends, but at this point I'd consider him one of the closest things I have to a brother.
Hey, what's your name?
Most people call him Zigzag.
Zigzag, old school.
The trail provides, as my friend allegedly would say, and one of the biggest things it provides is kooky names, nicknames. Allegedly, was our like a chef for a while.
My guitar case. What are you making tonight? I'm gonna make some potato soup.
He would help us cook. We would do potlucks as much as we could, basically, where we would share all of our favorite foods. Speaking of food, I haven't eaten meat all year, and I mean it's just turned February, but we bought some. I think it was like rump round, something like that. So I think it was like 20 pounds of beef, and we cut it up into jerky at our friend's house, the Jaggers. They were JJ's old neighbors. After he moved, that's why they're old neighbors. So our old time friends. We started the trip with too much food, to say the very least. How long you reckon 4 miles is gonna take?
All day.
We had approximately 2 weeks of food on us at the very beginning, and we started hiking at Mount Washington. So that was the tallest mountain we ever.
Almost at the top.
We started with the tallest mountain of our whole trip, and we hiked south. We later became known as the SoBo Slackers, which is it's an endearing name for me, but it just means the southbound hobos. And we were slackers because we smoked a lot of weed, basically, and we would take like safety meetings, is what it's called, whenever. We had a ton of fun. What else is there to say? One of my most favorite memories is the night at Mount Jackson. This is early on in the presidential range, and Mount Jackson is a really tall mountain, and it was my genius idea to camp at the top, which is not allowed, but we did it anyway. And at like 4 a.m. it was like windstorming, and we got really worried, so we took out our tent and we booked it down the mountain. And in our rush, our haste, our tired state of mind, we took a wrong turn. We were supposed to go to 302, and we ended up, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles away from the trail, but it was 302.
6 miles away.
So we skipped Mount Tom's, which is
Mount Jackson,
called
Webster
blue
Cliff
blazing
Trail.
or yellow blazing. The colors
Mount
represent
Webster.
the paint marks that are on the tree, and the white blaze is the Appalachian Trail.
And then to Ethan Pond
If you yellow
Trail.
blaze, then you are taking the yellow routes. I could be wrong about this, but the yellow routes are the roads. There was a lot of hitchhiking, but that's sort of cheating, I guess. As far as cheaters go, there are people who are purist hikers. We met a purist hiker by the name of T-Storm. And T-Storms was a really nice lady on holiday. We met at the top of Musalak, or Mount Musalaki, whichever name or way you want to pronounce it. And she was on a vacation. She hiked all the way from Georgia to Maine, I'm assuming, and it took her a lot longer than it took us. We spent 2 months, and she spent probably her whole entire summer, at least.
Hey, T-Storm. What you doing?
I'm changing my battery, my headlamp battery.
Is there a story behind your name?
Yeah. Every time I go out hiking with my friend, we got thunderstorm. Third time they named me.
I like the rain a lot.
When I first started back in April, it rains maybe like 5 days out of 7.
Wow.
Everything was just so bad. Everybody hates me that time. I keep yelling like, this one, that's enough.
Someone I learned a lot from had the name Silly Moose.
Whoa, I'm being filmed. I'm just seeing
This guy, avid camper, outdoorsman, taught us how to arrange our backpacks.
Yeah, you make it better.
He's the one who told us that we were carrying too much food at a time, and that we should be carrying stuff like peanut butter, which has a high caloric density for its weight.
We're going right past it. Right past it.
He taught us how to pack our bags for accessibility. So like
that one.
our cooking pot would be on the very bottom because we don't need that all the time. He taught us a really valuable lesson that we should have a dry bag for not only our food, but for a dry pair of clothes. Dry socks was a very important thing for me. This was the last day with Silly Moose, just outside of Glencliff, where my foot went calf deep into like murky water. And at this point, it had been raining, well, not quite raining. It was drizzling all day, I guess you could say. And my feet were wet and like stinky, obviously, and like blistered, a lot of like skin missing. And at that moment in time, I gained the appreciation for the privilege I have in my life. It sounds corny to say, but really I did feel homeless. I hadn't showered in 3 weeks to a month, and it sounds disgusting, and it was disgusting. Yeah, I appreciated that I could just walk out of the woods and get a hot shower and clean myself up, get a nice warm bed if I needed it, but a lot of people in this world don't have that luxury, and if I didn't, I would have got trench foot, undoubtedly. Another person that, well, there's a group of people. We met at the top of Mount Cube. It was one day after Silly Moose decided to hike on. We were nowhere near keeping up with that dude. He was a lot faster, as you can imagine. But at the top of Mount Cube, we met, allegedly, Lucky One and Kick It.
The motherfucker's driving with just the, he doesn't even have the prosthetic leg on, just the nub driving with that. He's like, you guys got driver's license, don't you? Because the cops around here fucking hate me. I'm like, holy shit.
That's the scariest, most exciting thing I've ever heard.
We call him One-Legged Brad.
Great friend to have. Lucky One served 7 tours in the war, the recent, I want to say Iraq or Afghanistan. I'm not too certain, but Lucky I love you, man. He would always say that I'm the most chill dude or relaxed guy he's ever met. He once said to me that I would be a good infantryman, which I'm not sure I believe, considering I'm like more peaceful than militant, but I think he said that because I would carry like rocks, and at one point I was carrying an iron horseshoe for like 15 miles before I mailed it home. We didn't stay at a hostel, but we went to a hostel for about 4 or 5 hours, and I patched up my bag, which eventually had inner supports snap, and it had holes in it. Luckily, LL Bean, luckily they replaced it. They had a guitar. It only had 5 strings, but damn, I had never been happier to see a guitar. It had been a long time since I'd played music, and Silly Moose's harmonica, his playing really made me long for it, just the feeling. And I sat out by the road for a good, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, just having a great time playing in front of traffic. not like that, but sitting next to traffic, playing guitar on the side of the road, eating apples from the apple trees of Vermont. There was a point where I got lost, you could say. At this point, we were still hiking with allegedly Lucky and Kick It, but I guess I missed my friends at the place they were staying, the shelter, and instead of doing a 9-mile day, I did a 16-mile day. Maybe that's not right. It was over the course of 2 days or 3 days I was separated from them. I swear I thought they were in front of me, and they weren't. So I hadn't seen them for a long time, but I met someone on Peru Peak. His name was Pickles. Lovely person. Just one of the most genuine people that you don't get to meet every day. I love, the best strangers hike the trails. So I told Pickles I was looking for 3 bearded men, and she found them. She was hiking north, I was hiking south. And apparently, my friend Zigzag, JJ, and Kick It convinced her to hike south with us. And I ended up, or Lucky ended up catching up with me, convincing me to stop, and we all hiked to the town, basically, because it was raining for that week. We hiked to the town and got a hotel. When I saw JJ, he was driving some dude's red truck or some car. Someone had lent Pickles their diesel car, and that was one of the best moments, just seeing him pull up in the car. And then we got pizza and stayed at a motel. Unfortunately, that's where our little adventure ended. Hiking for us, we had been on the trail on the road for 2 months at least, and unfortunately, we didn't feel comfortable in town.
That's the thing.
And I hope Lucky doesn't mind me saying this, but it's just because he had his post-traumatic stress. We didn't feel safe around it when he was drinking.
Just in case you're wondering, come here. Hey, Pickles.
Oh God.
She's not available.
No, I had the original frog.
Oh God.
The original frog. She's
Oh, you
available.
do?
There it is.
Yeah.
Well, then we should all listen to it.
Why don't you just?
Are you making a thing?
Separate checks or together?
I'll be with her.
Definitely not done hiking. We'll see where these feet take me.